Got some Facebook. Okay, let's do this. Let me tell my team we're live. We'll ping in some people here as well. Okay. All right, guys. We're talking real estate, and we are, let's see. How come that camera looks so fucked? It looks jacked. Okay. All right. All right, guys. Let's see. Okay, we're going to talk about real estate, guys. We're going to talk a little bit about. Okay, that looks a little better. I think the lighting was a little bit jacked up. Okay, let's talk a little bit about real estate. Let me tell my team what platforms I'm live on. That way they can ping people. Okay, TikTok. We're live on Twitter X, and we are live on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, cool. So let's talk about real estate, guys. I want you guys to understand where the money is right now in 2020, in 2024, moving to 2025. So I'm going to tell you guys, if people are on the sidelines, it's exciting to me that people sit on the sidelines, and here's why. We've been aggressively looking at distressed assets since we started looking at them about 2018. We started looking at massively distressed assets. Okay, 2018, and people are asking, should I invest in rental properties right now in 2024? And I'm going, yeah, you should be investing in real estate always, all the time, guys. There shouldn't ever be a time that you don't. I started buying real estate in 1999, and there's never been not one year that's went by. Not 1 year ever that's went by that I didn't buy a piece of real estate. And it didn't matter if it was the 2008 recession, didn't matter if it was from prior years where when we were barely getting started, we didn't even know what was going on. We just always continued buying real estate. And so one of the biggest things is people ask, oh, Jerome, is it a good time? It's always a good time. It's never a bad time. It's just the strategy that you use is always going to change depending on the market conditions. And so like in 2018, we landed up going in and we started looking at distressed assets. Now we crushed it. I was buying distressed hotels, and we were turning them into multifamily, and bought an old distressed bowling alley, leveled it, turned it into 135 units of multifamily. And so distressed assets was where it was at. Well, by 2020, when COVID hit, what ended up happening is everybody was looking at distressed assets because like hotels and stuff, they were financially distressed because, let's see. Okay, we've got comments. Okay, so they landed up coming in, and everybody was looking at distressed hotels. So all of a sudden, hotels, we used to buy them on what's called price per key. Okay, not price per door, price per key. And it's based on the financial revenue that the hotel produces on the price per key being what they rent it for per night. And so when they weren't renting these things, the prices of hotels started going down. And so you could buy these hotels that were once worth $8 million for like $4 million. And so that's what we were doing. We were going in, buying these things for half price. And then we were turning them into something palatable and financially lucrative. Hey, Michael Reyes, what's up? Happy Saturday to you too, bro. And so when all of a sudden they started selling for price per door instead of price per key. And the difference is that's the way multifamily is sold, is price per door. So the sellers started catching on to this stuff in 2020. And so they started selling on price per door, and the price just went up exponentially. Now it wasn't $8 million of its true value of what it was at its best. It wasn't $4 million based on its financial revenue. Now they were selling this thing for like $10 million for what it would be worth if it was multifamily. So I'd sit back and go, well, this is bullshit, because we were just paying $4 million. Now we can't even pay $8 million. Now it's $10 million. So we started pivoting. And we started going 100% ground up construction. If you guys know anything about me, I love the ground up game because there's so much more profitability in the ground up game than there is the value add game. Now, there is a little bit of extra time that it takes, but when you ante up the profitability over the course of time, once you stabilize, they're hands down. There is nothing like the ground up game. It's just so much more lucrative compared to like fix and flipping, buying land, building houses, way more lucrative. Buying a piece of land and building apartment complexes over a value add deal, way more lucrative, so much more profitable. And so we landed up doing a lot more ground up and a lot less distressed assets. Although we did find our Youngtown project. Those of you guys that are not familiar with that project, I bought an old office building for $1.8 million. We dumped a total, including the purchase price of the asset, $14 million into it. And it's worth over $27 million, and it's stabilized right now. We just finished that project, and that's in Youngtown, Arizona, just outside of the Phoenix metro area. Now, and then we have all our other ground up deals going. Now, the reason I'm telling you guys this is because this is the type of stuff you guys should be paying attention to right now. Now, one of the big things. Let me see, swipe left to close. Okay, so one of the big things, ladies and gentlemen, is like, where does opportunity sit right now? It's back into the financially distressed asset game. For those of you guys that don't know my story, I bought a building back in 2000 because I was sick of paying and leasing from somebody else. And so I sat back and go, okay, I'm not going to pay rent to have my construction company sit in somebody else's building. I'll just buy a building, right? Like I didn't complicate it. I was like, I'm just going to buy a building. And what type of building do I need? I need a building that had land, and I needed a building that I could house an office. So I looked at distressed buildings, but I was looking for something that had just a solid structure on it, walls, roof. And so I bought this block building that was built back in the 1950s, and it was built out of block, and it had a roof on it, a few roof leaks, but still pretty solid. And it hadn't, it wasn't open for business for almost a decade. And so I ended up buying this little building. I still own this building today, bought it for $225,000 on what's called an owner finance contract. That means the owner of that building, they financed it for me because my credit was jacked up, didn't have a lot of money. That building didn't have revenue. It was really tough to get a loan, even if you did have good credit on a piece of crap building like that. So through the means of owner financing, I was able to pick up that building for very little down, an incredible low interest rate, and terms that didn't affect my credit or my finances. And I was able to pick it up, renovate it, and then lease it. And it was such a home run. I still own it today. That building's made us just shy of $3 million in revenue. And it makes us six figures every single year in passive rental income. And we bought it for a couple $100,000. And I put like $60,000 into renovations. Haven't really put a lot of capital expenses into it since then. A few little things. My daughter's here, so sweet. What up, girls?
Hi.
Hi, Gabby.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So one of the big things, guys, is I went in and this week, my business partner, Kyle Mitchell, if you guys don't know who he is, great guy. I don't do a lot of business partnerships. In fact, I try to do almost none. But when you find just incredibly strategic partners, they make you a lot of money, and you bet it's a win-win. You benefit them with your attributes. They benefit you with their attributes. And we've been able to go out and do hundreds of millions of dollars in ground up development because he takes care of the asset management game, which I love. I don't mind doing it, but I don't want to have all the employees. So I let him take advantage of all the asset management. I go in and I take care of the ground up project management stuff. And it's like a win-win deal. Well, some deals he finds, some deals I find. So our very, very first deal that we did together, he found it. We were looking for like 2 years almost before we found a deal to do together. And it took us a long time because we were looking at everything. And it just happened to be right in the cusp of COVID when we were looking for all these distressed assets to reposition. And we couldn't find anything initially. And so I think actually it was about like maybe 18 months later, we land up going in, we land up finding a project together, and we crush it, man. We do this $30 million project and just crush it. You know, it takes us about 2 years, full turnkey. And then I went in and found the land for our West Camelback project that we're getting ready to turn dirt on now. Now that's a $50 million development, ladies and gentlemen. And I know a lot of people sit back, well, Jerome, well, how do I get into this game? I don't know anything about getting into a $50 million development. It's going to be a $70 million stabilized asset. But look, guys, I started with that one building. That one building I bought for $230,000, and I was buying just single family rental homes. Okay. Now, this is kind of leading to what we just found this week, which is really cool. I've been talking about this because we scaled up to these assets that we have 200 units in, right? Like we're building apartment complexes that have in excess of 200 plus doors. And these are like 50 to $70 million developments. And we've been crushing it. But banking has been kicking our ass right now because institutions don't want to lend money on these assets, in spite of the fact that they have insurance that will back them, even if we defaulted, which we won't, on these assets. So it's kind of a ruckus, but through the means of private equity firms and private credit, through family office and some of these other areas that people have large lucrative amounts of money, we're finding lending at better rates, better leverage, and we're still taking down these large assets, but it is a little bit more work. Then I ended up finding our third deal and our fourth deal. And then the fifth deal that we're doing together, he found this past week, which was absolutely incredible. So I called up Kyle the other day and look, guys, listen to this, because this is what I told him you guys should be paying attention to, because if it's good enough for myself to invest in, don't you think it's probably something that you should be paying attention to? And I have no problem with you guys going in and competing against me, because one, you guys got to get good enough at competing against me first. I would challenge you guys to beat me out on a deal right now, but I'll take the challenge. And one of the big things, if you guys find something, there's so much opportunity out there right now that I can't take down everything, right? Like you guys are all over the world. 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 We got 4 different platforms, people from all over the country and different places in the world that are following right now. Imagine that if you guys can't take down these deals, but if you guys brought deals that we could partner on, how lucrative they can be, not just for us, but even for you guys. And so one of the big things is I called him one day and I said, look, Kyle, these big deals that we're working on we're going to crush it on them. We're building these things for almost for free right now because values have dropped so much. And the reason values have dropped so much is because interest rates have went up. And the one thing that most people don't realize about interest rates is they make the commercial real estate market extremely, extremely volatile. And the reason, the way that they do that is because of cap rates. Okay. Now, let me explain this to you guys so that you guys better understand this. And I'll let you guys ask some questions on this stuff. TikTok, you guys are slacking on me, TikTok, because you guys are sitting back. As all the other platforms are growing in audience, TikTok is going down. Does that mean you guys are younger, or is this like way over your guys' head? That's my big question for you guys on TikTok. Like, where are you guys going? Like, I'm going to give you guys massive gold right now. And you guys are like disappearing. You're like, oh, Jerome, it's Saturday night. I'm going to go to the club. And I'm sitting back going, go buy the club. Then you can go at the owner's table. Instead of going out and going to the club, go buy the club. You know, then the club becomes really fun when you own it, because then the party starts at the owner's table. So watch, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. So cap rates, right? Cap rates were like at 3% because interest rates were at 3%. Well, cap rates are the amount of money you make back on your investment. So if you're only making 3% return on your investment, you can't pay a 6% interest rate. And so now that interest rates have went up to like 7%, you have to buy these assets at a cap rate that's equal to it. So watch, take this for example, watch. Nothing changes, guys. And I talk about this all over the country. Nothing changes. Okay. It's the same damn buildings. It's the same apartment complexes. It's the same damn tenants. It's the same walls, the same paint, the same furniture, the same everything. And the whole thing is exactly the same. You haven't lost no tenants. You have the same percentage of occupancy. You have the same tenants. You have the same rents. They're not paying you any less, nothing more. But watch, look what happens to values, guys. And if you pay attention to this, you'll understand why we're looking for the assets that we're looking for right now. Okay. So watch, pay attention to this. Okay. So you go in and you take an asset, and every commercial asset is based on its net operating income. It's based on how much money it makes. And so if you go in, and just like the club that you guys might be going to on TikTok, hey, TikTok goers, you guys, the club you'll sell it based on its NOI, its net operating income. Real estate, commercial real estate, apartments, whatever you guys are are going into, it's based on its net operating income. So let's say that net operating income was, after you paid all bills, right, like all expenses, was $150,000 a year in net operating income. So you have $150,000, not a lot of money. It's just a small asset, right? But even a small apartment that brings in $150,000 after all bills are paid. You land up going in and paying your property taxes, your insurance, your lights, your parking lot, you're mowing your lawns. All of your expenses are paid. The only thing that it doesn't cover is your debt service, because debt service, it fluctuates, right? So $150,000. Now, the way you figure out value is you take your net operating income divided by the cap rate, and that gives you the value of that asset, okay? You take the net income by the cap rate, the percentage, and that gives you that asset. So let's take just like 2021, for example, when cap rates went way down, got super compressed. You take a net operating income of $150,000. Nothing's changed. The walls haven't changed. The tenants haven't changed. The percentage of occupancy hasn't changed. The amount of money they're paying you hasn't changed. None of that stuff has changed, okay? The only thing that's changed is the interest rates. Now, back in 2021, interest rates were like a 3%. Commercial assets were selling for sub 3% cap rates. So if you take a 3% cap rate on $150,000 net operating income, nothing changing, divided by 0.03, that asset is worth $5 million. That's a $5 million valuation, guys. $5 million. Okay. So you take the $150,000, divide that $150,000 of net operating income by 3%. That's $5 million. Okay. That's how much that property's worth. 2021. Now, you take the same $150,000, and today interest rates are up in the 6 and 7s. So let's just take a 6.5%. Let's take a 6% cap rate. Okay. Let's say that you get a loan through HUD or Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae, and that loan is a 6% interest rate. You go in and you multiply this and see what the value is now. Okay. Net operating income divided by cap rate, 6% cap rate divided by 0.06, $2.5 million value. That's right. Nothing's changed. The tenants haven't changed. Percentage of occupancy hasn't changed. The amount of money they're paying you hasn't changed. The walls are the same. The landscaping's the same. The tenants, everything's exactly the same. The only difference, ladies and gentlemen, is the cap rate itself based on interest rates. So in the commercial real estate world, how do you finance a $5 million asset that was worth $5 million 2 years ago, when now you can only get an appraisal based on interest rates of $2.5 million? That's the question. How in the friggin' world do you finance that? That's the question. Okay, Einstein's, you can't friggin' do it, right? You can't do it. Okay, so look, that's where opportunity comes from, right there, ladies and gentlemen. People are still trying to sell this $2.5 million building for $5 million. Ain't gonna happen. I don't even care if interest rates go down in April. No, interest rates aren't gonna go down this month in March. It's gonna be next month. So interest rates go down in April, and they go down like that much. What are we gonna do? Underwrite that thing? Because see, they're still high. So what are you gonna do? Underwrite at 5.75%? It's still too much. The value's still down. And ladies and gentlemen, we got 2 years. 2 years. And interest rates going to slowly cascade down. We'll probably never see 3% interest rates again, truth be told. But we got about 2 years, ladies and gentlemen. Question is, are you going to get off your ass and get to work, or are you going to sleep? That's the question. Okay. Now, I'd go to work. And so I told Kyle, I said, look, bro, we can just buy shit for cheap, let's just go after some of this stuff that's cheap, right? And let's just start building projects. But I told him, look, instead of going in, and if you guys know my business model, it's all about affordable housing. It's about going in and building a Class A product that looks like Class A, the bathrooms, the tile, the floors, the kitchen, the appliances, everything. They're beautiful. But we de-amenitize. We take out the swimming pools, the gyms, all the dumb shit that people don't even use in apartments anyways, that just are used for leasing purposes. They don't need that, because in times like today, people only rent what they are in need of, not what they want. So we're able to rent for less and give them a lot more for a lot less money. So that's been my business model for the last decade. And I've been telling people affordable housing is where it's at because people can't even afford to live. Yes, even some of you guys that are on here on these different social media platforms right now. And so I sit back and I go, okay, now I went back and I said, there's still a fluency. And what made me look at this is I went to go look for a piece of land. And this piece of land that was worth over $1.5 million, they were trying to fire sell for under $500,000 just a couple months ago. Now, a wholesale swept it out from underneath me. I went and spoke. I went to go look at it. I called up the wholesaler and said, bro, I'm interested. I want it. And so he sends me a purchase agreement. I signed I signed the LOI and I handwrite on there. I said, and it was something stupid. I can't remember what it was. It was like some logistical bullshit on the closing that I wrote on there. And he goes, well, let me just change it formally and then I'll send it over to you as soon as you get off stage. He said, sign it, send it back, and we'll tie up the property. Well, I was on stage for about 2 hours. By the time I talked to people, it was like 3 hours. And I said, no problem. I'll get right back to you. So then when I'm taking off from wherever I was at, where was I at the time? I don't even know if I was in LA or where the hell was I at? And it doesn't even matter, right? So anyways, I get off stage. I'm heading back to the airport and I call up the broker and I say, and the broker's not answering my phone calls, first of all. And I was like, okay, that's not good. And then I sent, so then afterwards I sent an e-sign back to him, but the e-sign was 3 hours old now. So I e-signed it, sent it back to him, silence, crickets, just crickets. And I was like, what in the hell? Why is this guy not getting back to me, man? Like he was like on it, like flies on shit, man, just on top of it before. And now just silent, right? TikTok, you're slipping like an old transmission again, baby. You guys, everybody else, platforms going up in viewers, and you guys are dropping. You guys going to the club? You guys, what are you guys, 15 years old? What's your guys' story? Come on, man. I'm giving you guys gold here. You guys pay attention, man. Pay attention. You guys are losing it. Okay? That number should be growing, baby. You should be inviting your friends. I'm giving you guys free gold, buckets filled of it. It's like what's Colorado? The Golden State, like mining gold over here, baby. Okay. So what we land up doing is I sat back and finally the broker the next morning calls me and he goes, hey, Jerome, or the wholesaler. And that's what I hate about wholesalers. They don't work like brokers. These guys are, they're shysters, man. These guys, you got to watch them. You got to watch wholesalers close because they're like vultures. They'll just take the first thing that bites onto their offer, right? So they end up taking this offer that's $50,000 less than ours. And they do it in the 3 hours that I was up on stage. And I go, bro, I told you guys that we were going to do that. We were going to buy this deal. What's the story? And he goes, yeah, it's just a sure deal. I had to buy, I had to get, well, someone was ready to buy. And so anyways, make a long story short, we lost it. I told that wholesaler to go pound sand, lose my number and never call me ever again. Piss me off, right? Piss me off. And I was like, I don't like doing business with bullshit like that, bullshit people like that. So lose my number. So anyways, I underwrote the deal. And the whole thing was we were just going to turn it and sell that land for about $500,000 profit, make $500,000 in a couple months. We were going to entitle it. It was going to be great. But I sat back and I underwrote this deal. And it was in one of the most prestige areas in Phoenix, Northern Phoenix, right off of Thunderbird Road, where there's a lot more affluency, right by Paradise Valley and the cusp of Scottsdale. And there's just $1 million homes in this area. And this land sat back a really pronounced golf course. And it was just a small little 9-hole golf course, but it was real pronounced in that little neighborhood, and people love it. So we landed up going in, and I landed up underwriting these things. I was like, okay, if I just built 35 units of multifamily, and these rents were in excess of $3,000 a month. Now I'm looking at one of my other properties that we had just finished building. That's 104 units, and I'm comparing it to the rents there. Now my net operating income was on my 104 units was just shy of $500,000. Well, when I underwrote this one and after I subtracted all my expenses, my net operating income was like $430,000, not much less. Just like, we're talking $30,000, $40,000 a year less. And when you're talking about an asset difference of 35 units versus 104 units, that's a big spread of doors. And I was like, okay, the property management company will pick this up because we have other product that you won't normally pick it up as product that small, but because we have hundreds of doors in that market, they'll pick it up for us. They'll manage it for us. And the value is almost identical to what I had in my 104 unit deal, and my cash flow. The cash flow, ladies and gentlemen, was super solid. So I landed up calling Kyle. I said, Kyle, bro, we need some small deals with that are some small deals that we can build fast, like these little 20 unit, 30 unit deals. Nothing that's big and crazy, just something small and modest that we can go in and we can build and generate some quick money on, right? As opposed to going in and building these big 220 unit ones that are taking us 3 years, 4 years turnkey to stabilize. So we land up this past week. We go in and we look at this prime land in Scottsdale, guys. Prime land in Scottsdale. Now, I'll tell you guys, it's a $13 million purchase for just the land. It's right by the W. If you guys know the Scottsdale area, it's right by Scottsdale Road and Indian School, right down the road from Fashion Square Mall. There's the W Hotel. In fact, the land right next door to the W, the gentleman who owns the W Hotel is actually building a big apartment complex right there. And the rents are going to be about $3,500 a month. On average, that's the average rent. So which means like the 1 bedrooms are probably close to like 2,800. The 2 bedrooms are probably getting close to 4,000. Anyways, just prime. Well, this one gentleman comes in, he's going through a divorce, and he goes, look, guys, it took me 6 years to accumulate all of this real estate. And it's a residential road, both sides of the road. He accumulated all the single family homes on both sides of the road. And then he leveled one and built a little fourplex out of one, actually renovated it into a fourplex. And they want, and so we're there to go look at this premium piece of land that 99.9% of you guys would never be able to afford. They're on this call anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Anyways, Kyle and I are looking at that for a future project. We're kind of back. I told Kyle, let's backpedal into that one slowly. Let's see how that one works out. And if you guys know anything about me, I'm super conservative. And it's one of those things where I'll do some work. I'll backpedal into a project. And if the doors continue to open as I backpedal into that project and things that I'm looking for, just kind of roll out and say, okay, that box checked. Okay, that box checks. Okay, that box checks. Okay, that box checks. And then all of a sudden I'm in this big giant deal, right? And it's because I was just checking one box at a time. I wasn't looking at the finish line. I knew what the finish line looked like because I underwrote it, but it was just like, okay, it's a massive project, really expensive area. It's a legacy project that, yes, I would love to do. And I'm just going to check box. I'm going to check the boxes. I'm walking through this deal. But while I'm checking those boxes, I need other shit. I need money coming in from my other projects, right? So then it was like an FYI. This guy just kind of throws us a curveball and goes, because Kyle told him, hey, if you also have some just small stuff that you guys want to show us, let us know. So the Matthews Real Estate Group, in case you guys don't know them, you guys are welcome to try to go up against us on some of this stuff. They throw us this little curveball and say, hey, on your way to the airport, Jerome, why don't you guys go check out this project that's right out of downtown Phoenix? So we do. So we go by on the way to the airport, I go down, take a look at this property. It has 4 houses on it. It's one property. It's about less than 2 acres. It's less than an acre. It's like 0.79 acres. Well, in the city of Phoenix, once it's over 0.75 acres, 3/4 of an acre, you're able to annex in the same quantity of units as a 1 acre parcel. So we're able to get up to 29 units on this one little deal. So we call the broker and we say, this is pretty attractive. And yes, we're willing, and we're overpaying for it, guys. Like, it's 4 ugly fourplexes, $1.1 million. We put in an offer for $1 million. They shake hands and tell us they're going to take it to the market and they're not going to let us buy it at $1 million. So we say, okay, do you guys want full price to keep it off the market? So we're like, okay, what are we going to do? Negotiate with them and save $80,000? We had underwrote this thing to do 29 units, and we could build this thing full turnkey, 18 months. How many of you guys on here, guys, just by show of hands, how many of you guys on here would like to make anywhere between $3 and $4 million in the next 18 months on one little tiny project? Just one project. We have a ton of projects going on, one little side project. As a little side endeavor, how many of you guys on here would love to make an extra $3 to $4 million? On the low end, $3 million, the high end, $4 million. Over the next 18 months, little side deal. Okay. So that's what we did. So we land up tying up that asset. And so we land up tying it up. And now we're in contract. And those guys move fast. I told Kyle, I said, yeah, let's drag our feet. Let's take a few weeks to get the purchase agreement dialed in. And let's start working hard on getting the architecture moving. So we already have the architect this weekend working all weekend. We gave him a sense of urgency yesterday and said, hey, we need to get this dialed in so we can take something to the city on Monday. This is how fast we work, guys. This was like We went and looked at this stuff last Friday, a week ago yesterday. We negotiated and talked over the deal with them till Wednesday, tied this deal up on Thursday, and then on Friday yesterday, we started executing this deal full-fledged. And now we're going in and we're going to build this thing out. It's like a little $5 million build. And I know a lot of you guys sit back and go, oh my God, that's big. It's not, man. It's small. And you guys can get lending on that stuff if you guys start building some houses. Just build a few houses to resume into something like that. It's really, really simple. And when someone says, what do you mean resume in? In the world of banking, it's like you have to have a resume just like you do to get a job, right? Like you can't get an executive CEO position if all you've been is a handyman clerk, right? It's a local convenience store. You got a resume up from the mail room to the clerk, to the front end, to the manager, to the regional manager, to the corporate office, into corporate management, right? You got a resume up. Same thing in real estate with banks. You got a resume up. So I always tell people, look, guys, start building some houses or just buy a house. Like just buy a friggin' rental house. And one of the big things is when you go in and you just buy a rental house, you can go in and get some experience. Because one thing that's going to happen, guys, is you're going to get experience no matter what you do. Just even taking down one asset. I know everybody is looking at the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris and the Rolls Royces and the big multi-million-dollar homes on the internet. Let me tell you guys something. All that is temporary. It's all bullshit. Okay. And let me explain to you why all that's bullshit. Okay. Because I'm sitting in an 8,500 square foot house. Our whole house, full square footage is over 11,000 square feet. Right. And so, but I didn't start here and I can give a shit less if I live here or I downsize out of here. It just worked out. Right. And we've made a lot of money. So we don't even feel it. And we own it. Like we paid cash for it. And so one of the big things, guys, is this. Watch. When you go in and you're young and you've never made money before, you're trying to impress everybody. And one thing you guys if you guys follow my content, I really don't give a shit what any of you guys think. You know why? Because I'm comfortable in my own pants. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like if someone goes, oh, that motherfucker doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm like, okay, cool. That motherfucker doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, cool. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Cool. So be it. I don't care. Right? Because it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just sitting here going, I'm giving you guys golden gems. And if you guys don't want them, fuck, don't take them. I don't care. You're the stupid one that doesn't take them. Because we've made millions of dollars doing what we're doing. And that's the truth behind it, right? I don't need to show you guys Lamborghinis and stuff. I can go show you the dead batteries on my 911 Porsches down there and my garage full of badass motorcycles and stuff that I own. And my big old, my big 3,000 square foot garage that I just built that we're filling with, and I'm going to fill with some toys and stuff. But damn, you guys, I got kids. And let me tell you the reality behind it. I don't want a nanny. You know, people are like, oh yeah, I got kids. I'm going to hire me a nanny. I'm like, why? I'm like, I want to be with my kids. Like my kids are teenagers now. They don't even want to spend time with me, right? Like teenagers don't even want to spend time with their parents. Their parents aren't cool, you know? And so I just want to savor the time I got with them. So I don't want to go in a 2-seater to go to dinner. I want a car that my whole family can go in. You know, like I'm begging my son yesterday to go to dinner with us. I'm like, Jacob, he ran track yesterday. He was sore in the legs. He was taking a nap when he got home. And I was like, Jacob, get up, man. Like, let's go. Let's go to dinner. And I'm begging my kids, let's go to dinner, right? Because I go, I love hanging out as a family. But I can't put them on the back of my motorcycles. I can't put them in a Lamborghini. I can't put them in that stuff. So that stuff, the batteries just die. It doesn't get used. Rick, my buddy Rick, who's over here with me on Twitter X right now, we grew up together, man, and we want to go ride our bikes. Before I had kids, we were out on our bikes all the time. We were buying all kinds of fun, cool shit. So you guys, now that my kids get older, you guys will see me buy some pretty cool shit because I'll have the time to do it because my kids will be off at college and they won't want me anymore around, or they'll want me around, but they'll be off doing their own things in life, right? So then you guys will watch me buy some pretty cool shit. You guys might even see me in a car with some hydraulics with, you know, a little lowrider stuff because I kind of like that stuff. It's kind of cool with a beating system. And then you guys will see me with some other cool cars. And I should probably do that. But the whole point being, guys, is that you don't need any of that shit. You know what you really need is freedom and flexibility. Freedom and flexibility will give you everything. You can go off and all the other stuff is cool. But the reality is, man, you can go out and make some money so that you can have a real good life because people who really have a quality of life, if you really look at it, like take a look at somebody like Virgin Properties, Richard, what's his name? Richard Branson, right? Like that dude, I've never seen him with like a bunch of cool, expensive stuff. I see him with his mom. I see him out doing incredible excursions on beautiful islands that he owns. Like that's cool shit to me. I'm like going like this dude has it figured out. Like Richard Branson, that dude has it figured out, man. That's the life. Like freedom and flexibility, guys. Freedom and flexibility. See, if you guys watch me, I'm traveling everywhere. I don't worry about the money it takes to travel. I don't worry about the money it takes to put my kids in all the sports activities, private lessons, and special coaching and stuff to become badasses. Why? Because it doesn't matter. Why? It doesn't affect us because we've created wealth through the means of real estate in our lives. And so it's the quality of life that matters. Watch people's quality of life. Watch the quality of what they do, the quality of their health, the quality of their relationships, the quality of their children, the quality of their business, who they're around. That's what you guys watch. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what you guys should watch because the cars get old. Like you go buy a 2024 Lamborghini, guess what happens in 4 years? It's old. It's not as impressive as it once was. When the 2028 Lamborghinis come out, it's not as impressive as it was in 2024. So what do you do? Just keep buying this shit like all the time? Like it just doesn't make sense because there's not a return on investment. You know what there's a return on investment on? Your children. Like if you invest in your kids when they're babies and you sculpt them into this stuff long term, you invest in them. The return on investment could be exponential. It could be forever, guys. And I understand that a lot of your parents didn't invest in you guys because most people are self-righteous. They're so busy just trying to put food on the table, a roof over their head. And they're so busy with a day in, day out grind just to keep things afloat. The vast majority of people, not that they have a bad upbringing, they just never invested in what's important. And what's important, ladies and gentlemen, is investing in this right here. Because this is the only thing, your wisdom is the only thing you take with you when you die. And what stays here on this earth is what you leave in education. So when you guys watch what I'm doing, and some people go, this guy's full of shit. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm full of shit. Go watch some other bullshit and go follow that. Or you guys follow this stuff, and I'll tell you guys the real reality behind what we do and give you guys real strategic ways to take advantage of creating wealth in your life. Because I've done good at it. I've been good at this for a long friggin' time. And I feel pretty damn blessed in the fact that God has given me the abilities to pilot business and success in business since the late 1990s. And so we've made millions of dollars for many, 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 many years, not like on accident, not on like just many, many, many years of it. And so now the material stuff, I think it's kind of cool. It's fun, man. I love going and getting a Lamborghini and just beating the shit out of it, man, and going and doing donuts in a friggin' parking lot. We did that in Vegas, and the security guards come on their bikes. And we're doing donuts in the Green Valley Mall at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Just smoking out the parking. Asphalt just flying everywhere. In fact, we had the top down. Asphalt's going in my mouth. I'm like spitting out asphalt out of my mouth. Just beating the crap out of this Lamborghini, right? And the security guards come over all mad, and they're like, "Sir," I thought they were going to come back in and be like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool, right?" Like I thought they were going to be like, "Yeah, this dude's doing donuts, beating the shit out of a Lamborghini in our parking lots, right?" I thought they were going to come and tell him, slap me on the hand, and be like, "Sir, you got to leave." That was pretty freaking cool, though. And no, they were all stiff. They come over there like, you guys ever see Mall Cop? You guys ever see Mall Cop? The big fat dude, he goes over there on his bike, Mall Cop, thinking he's cool, but he's just a dork. That was those dudes, man. Those dudes come over there, man. We're in the parking lot. And they come over there on their dorky bikes, their stupid little helmets on. They're like, "Sir, you got to leave." And I'm like, "Yeah, we just came in, so empty parking lot. We just want to have some fun. We're just checking out, see how this car did on the asphalt." And they're like, "You got to leave." And I was like, "All right. We'll leave, Mall Cop. We'll leave, baby." So we left. And I had to laugh. I just couldn't. I was like, holy shit, man. That was like the coolest fucking thing you could see. Is like see this Lamborghini just fucking carrying up that asphalt, friggin' asphalt and shit flying everywhere, smoke coming out of that friggin' thing. And they're like, "You got to leave." And I was like, "Really?" So I was like, okay, just difference in personality, But I was like, man, this is pretty friggin' cool. So anyways, guys, that stuff's fun, but it lasts that long, man. But you know what's even funner? Is seeing the attributes of those people that you change, right? When from your influence. And there's no greater feeling in the world than helping people and just giving them little tiny changes and attributes that actually help them do better in their life. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you should be buying some real estate right now, even if it's something small. You guys got about a 2 year window where prices are low. And in 2 years, it's not going to be time to stop buying real estate. It's just that the way we buy it will be different in 2 years from now than what it is today. Cap rates will be back down. Prices will be extremely expensive. That's why building ground up is so important for you guys to learn right now, because that's where you really crush it. When real estate prices are super expensive and there's not enough of it around for you to buy, and what is around is so damn expensive that you're paying a premium for it in any facet that you look at it, just build it. If you can't find inventory, create inventory. And that's always been my philosophy. And I know some people say, I know that's an undertaking. Man, it's not though. When I think about the upside reward and the attributes from doing ground up, even single family, I'm like, damn, man, it's just so profitable. The attributes on it are real. Take advantage of it. So, nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to come in. Shit, I wasn't planning on spending 40 minutes with you guys, but we did. Hey guys, if you guys like this content, smash that thumbs up button, click and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you guys here on you slackers over here on TikTok, all you slackers on TikTok, follow. Let's get you not being slackers, and let's get you guys fucking crushing it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, YouTube, Facebook, all of you guys, God bless you guys. Go out and crush it. Go out and have a great Saturday evening. I'm going to go have dinner with my wife. We're going to go tilt back a couple glasses of wine, and we're going to go have a nice dinner together, hang out, and enjoy. God bless you guys. Go out and compound your success. Good night. Shit, I don't even know how to close all you guys out. I know how YouTube.